What's up, you guys? It is Bento back with another Unordinary video. And last week, you guys know I did a very scripted video on, or not last week, but the first side story for Rei, I did a little bit of a scripted thing, and I didn't like how that turned out. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to do a live sort of reaction / first impressions. This is not really going to be edited. So yeah, if you haven't seen the last chapter, I definitely recommend you go back and read it, but also, read Unordinary in general. It's over on Webtoons. All of the links will be in the description, by the way. For every single Webtoon video I do, I put where you can watch them to the official site in the description. So all this stuff is for free. If you want to follow along, I definitely highly suggest it. We're going to be talking about part 2 of the side story. We're also going to be talking about the season 1 recap, which is really good. So I want to first start off just with part 2 of Rei's side story. So basically, there's a lot of things that happened in part 2 here of Rei's side story. We see that Rei doesn't really like Kuyo. He doesn't like the way he's going about things. He sees that Kuyo is really starting to be a jerk, which is in his own words. And he understands that Kuyo wants to get stronger. He wants to be, well liked and high up in the authority and stuff like that. But Rei really doesn't like the way he's going about that. What does Kuyo get for bullying these other students? And I really like that dilemma. It starts to show how much of a good person Rei is, and we know already, how he became the king and brought a lot of change and prosper to the school. But after this, we see Rei's mom, Rei and Remi's mom. We also see Remi as well, a young middle school Remi who is adorable. But we see Rei's mom, who how do I put this? She's basically a hardworking mom. You can tell that from the way her face looks, that she works very hard. And she's a little older as well. Looks to be in her mid to near late 30s. And I really like her character quite a bit in this, because this just further humanizes Rei and also helps Remi's character as well, because I don't think there has been a time that we've seen their mother. So to see her here, it's really cool. And I like how Rei's and his mother's hair kind of match up. His mother's hair has a little bit of a different shade to it. Now that may be because they were, speaking through a webcam and stuff like that. So initially it may have come off like that, but it seems pretty much like they're the same hair color, which is really cool. And she's very, very worried about Rei, because he mentions when he's talking to Remi, he asks Remi what's their power level, and Remi never really thinks about that because she's in middle school, and Rei's mother basically says, hey, why did you say that? It doesn't matter what your power level is. You should be, judging people off who they are, off their own merit, not how powerful they are. Which I like this. It really shows that Rei, being at this school, he's starting to get caught up in that hierarchy kind of stuff, the power level kind of stuff. It shows that it is kind of cracking his character sort of a little bit. Not very much at all, but it changed him a little bit just after a couple days or so, which I find really cool. I find that, Wellston, it's such a big thing at Wellston that it'll get to anyone in any kind of way. And basically, Rei's mother is like, hey, you just shouldn't be doing that. You should judge people by who they are, which I really like. And also, talking about Remi as well. We see a young Remi in this chapter, and Remi is basically, she's talking about how she made a bunch of friends, which I thought it was really interesting as well. And it definitely seems like the difference between Rei and Remi right now is that Remi is definitely much more of an innocent party in all of this. She's much more younger. She doesn't care about as much of the things that she probably cares about now. So she's still rather innocent, which I think is really cool. Rei's mother also says that there's basically no shame for sticking up for himself, which I also think is going to be a big part of Rei's character going forward. I think that from what I see, their mother is very important to them and how they've been raised by her, and she's a figure in their family that probably, gives them a lot of advice, as any mother would. And she seems just very important. So we then see Rei seeing a kid being bullied, and he basically goes and saves this kid. And these bullies, like we've seen all of the other bullies in the past Unordinary chapters, say stuff like, man, you're such a drag, and stuff like that, and basically saying, you know, like you like saying things like, you know, Rei is a know-it-all, and that basically Rei is just cramping their style. I mean, that's really the attitude they sort of give off. But yeah, we see Rei save this kid, and it's really cool. And then he goes to try out this, you know, the new cake, which, as you guys will know from like the first or second chapter, there's the double fudge cake. So, or was it the triple fudge? I can't remember. It doesn't look to be the same cake here, but it is definitely, you know, a cake. So I love that. If there's a cake involved, usually something bad is going to happen. Like there's going to be a confrontation. And by the way, he gets the tray of food knocked out of his hands, which is just very rude. And we see Kuyo. Kuyo shows up, and Kuyo basically, you know, basically pushes Rei away. And Rei basically says that he's going to do things his own way. He doesn't want to be a part of any of Kuyo's whatever, you know, bullying of other students, which I really liked. Rei standing up for himself. He's doing the best that he can, and it shows really well in this chapter. Now, as for the season 1 recap, this is going to be sort of short on my end, but I really enjoyed this recap. It was a different art style from the previous season, from the recaps, and I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it looked different. It didn't look like a totally different art style, but it was definitely it just looked. It looked different. I don't know if they did that, if Uru-chan did that, just for the simple fact that she wanted to make that look fresh to new viewers or to people who were wanting to refresh going into season 2 of Unordinary. And I really enjoyed it, though. I really enjoyed this recap. It was really good. It made me really excited for season 2 and what's to come. And it basically shows how John kind of just keeps cracking until he becomes the same old Johnny was before. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for like I think, in my opinion, just some theories on how it's going to go is at some point, I think Sarah, probably near the end of season 2 or somewhat, maybe this is going to get another season, it'll be in season 3, but I think Sarah's going to have to fight John. This is how I think it's going to happen. I think Layla and Sarah are going to meet up. It's going to be a reunion of sorts. We're going to see their first interactions in this story. It's going to be beautiful because, you know, they seem to be sisters. And Layla's going to give Seraphina some boosting drugs to boost her power level. And with that, we will see an ultra powerful Seraphina go up against John. To which I can't wait, because we've already seen John kind of teach Seraphina some tricks with her fighting abilities, which, as we know, John is a killer either way. Like, as Satsuki the Savage said in his previous video about Unordinary, that, you know, John, no matter what, is a problem even without his powers. So even if Seraphina doesn't decide to use her time powers to heal herself or whatever, and so he doesn't get that power, and if John doesn't have any powers, it's still going to be an issue for John. And I also think that, as well, maybe John won't take Seraphina as seriously, which I'm so ready for season 2 of this. I think that's about it, though. That's about it, what I want to talk about. Very short. I need some recommendations on how to make this better, because I don't exactly know what I still want to do with this series. I don't know how I want to do these videos yet, and if you guys could give some constructive criticism. I know not many people watch the Webtoon stuff, but for those who do, you know, give some constructive criticism. I would be very, very helpful, for sure. So with that being said, if you haven't already clicked on some of these videos, you may find them interesting. As well, give this video a like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because I'm trying to get this channel to 1K subs, and I have a Patreon. We're in the $1 tier and above. You can just go there and support me and get access to a whole bunch of things, like everything on Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.